Good afternoon, everyone, and blessings. Today we're sitting facing south in the yard. Welcome to Time with the Backyard Buddha. This morning I awoke with a sort of revelation or realization or one of those brief momented epiphanies I hope to have as I sit in bed with my eyes not yet open, but my consciousness here on this plane, and trying hard to not even move my body containment suit or really to even let my sense of hearing or smell interfere with my capturing the transition between wherever it is we sleep and wherever we are when we're awake. And during that moment, I had an insight into my own personal string of recent events, which I don't need to go into, except to say that one motto I've always used to guide myself in my actions and reactions is that love is stronger than fear, and that fear embraced is just faith disregarded. So I know sometimes the process I put myself through is a lot of mental spatula work, but most of the time it proves valuable to my ability to continue to find Zen, centering, balance, groundedness, passion, all these keywords I hear in mainstream now, which when I was little basically meant being able to entertain yourself. So on that note, I did my stretches and gently did my yoga pulls and took my prebiotics and my probiotics with my bottled sanitary water, because I would highly advise not ingesting, cooking with, nor even bathing in tap water if there's any way possible you can avoid it. I've seen a lot of scientific evidence of what doing so causes in the way of alterations inside our third eye or pineal gland. And it's not good. And again, my more suspect cell says that's an orchestrated dumbing down of the masses. I watched the 1950 reels of Freddie the Tooth and the way fluoride was suddenly dumped on the United States through products and water supplies, and it's another one of those areas where someone employs the technology but doesn't really ask permission first, and yet you are somehow automatically you're subject to being exposed to it. And a more recent occurrence that came up for me was I'm in the process of trying to get a new battery for my truck, which is more complex than just pulling into a automotive place and buying a battery and putting it in. There's plow equipment and sander equipment attached to the harness that holds the battery. So this operation will involve a mechanical uninstallation and installation, and with everything else I have going on, that briefly felt like the straw that might weaken the camel's back. I'm selling lottery tickets to the one that will break it if you want to take a chance. That was more of my sarcasm right there, for those of you who might not have listened to my first little chat. But I digressed from my original subject. So what made me fearful was when I asked the technician at the automotive place to come out and look under my hood, because I explained I wanted either a duplicate of battery that was in there, or I wanted to know what I was starting with so I would be fully aware of a upselling or downselling process as we did our sales negotiation. And he actually said to me, no, I don't need to open the hood, even though I had already unlatched it and had it open about an inch. He said, I'll just pop the camera right here, and he took his phone and shoved it under the area between my hood and my windshield and said, and take a picture of your VIN code, and then I'll just go around the back and take a picture of the license plate, which he did so fast as my head was reeling, and I was thinking, but that's really my information, and you didn't really ask me if I even wanted you to have it. And I was, on some level, so violated that there wasn't an old-fashioned process of asking my permission, especially as a senior of many years to this young gentleman. And at any rate, I did not end up buying a battery through that place, but that feeling of fear arose in me because I felt unable to navigate as quickly as I wanted to prevent what happened from happening. And then I decided, well, fear just makes you miserable and it just makes you worry, so don't be fearful, just come up with your solution, which I did. But that brief little mark that an emotion makes on your body that sort of has a shadow that hangs with you over the next few times it surfaces as you readjust and realign yourself to eradicate its impact, was certainly still flowing around, in my case, basically because even though we have resolution on that point now, there's such an apex of climatic opportunities that need to reach a conclusion in a quicker time frame than what I would prefer, and I realize I'm helpless to alter the time frame, so I'm concentrating on altering the situations the best I can. So this morning I found a lovely article about the biochemistry and physiology of fear, and I posted a little excerpt of it on my Facebook page because the thing that hit me in the head like a mallet was a dissertation about a teacher in Tennessee who had become extremely ill and explained that she was smelling gas in a building, and then one by one all the students became ill and they shut the school down, and all the professional agencies went and investigated the school and there was nothing. And then they realized it was actually acute occurrence of mass hysteria induced illness. And I just thought to myself, well, there you go. What better reason than to have COVID-19 as a starting point for this unraveling? And then I published one more thing on Facebook, which was a little more religiously overtoned, but they didn't point to a particular church, so I thought it was acceptable because he said two things that amazed me that I had never caught in my math prior. The Bible actually says do not fear 365 times, which means that there's a do not fear for every day. And pretty much what else I was thinking about with that regard is already posted on Facebook. I'll be back later. Time to go do the dishes. Blessings, light, and love.